at it. You see, this whole thing, with the crown and me being the crown bearer, this was all just like it was said. It was like an exhibition. So I thought myself and the crown assumed that we would just have some fun. Throw some predictions out there. Let those who are not used to winning, throw a bone.
Oh,
throw a bone.
So that's what happened. Okay.
Bones were thrown. Okay.
Bones were thrown. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know this was high school, but all right.
No. I would never treat anything like high school. I appreciate the crown. I appreciate the prestige that I have built up for said crown. And being that WWE does WWE things, this WWE stuff was not worthy of the crown. But now that we have seen Money in the Bank 2021, yeah, I think now WWE might be heading in the right direction. Spoiler alert to those of you who are watching, who didn't watch Money in the Bank. I went into this wanted to go into this shitting on this show.
Same.
But I can't say that I'm shitting too hard on it. I am going to shit on some of it, but they did all right. They did all right in my book.
My only shit moment was that there should have been a DQ at a certain point, but we'll get into when.
Yeah. But speaking of which, we'll just go down the line. The pre-show for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Mysterios defending their tag titles against the Usos. This I
will say this. Shouts out to the Mysterios for their new entrance. That shit was kind of fire.
Yeah.
But it sucks to get a new entrance and
then lose the titles.
Of course they lost to the most devastating finisher in wrestling history. The roll up,
but this was an assisted roll up though.
True.
Not mad at that either.
So of course, I did see the comments online about the Usos becoming tag champs, but I mean, what did y'all expect?
Yeah, I mean it's true.
Repercussions for actions was what I expected, but
Yeah, I did hear, and I believe it was from because I don't want to not give anybody credit for saying what they said. I believe it was JD from NY. I believe he was the one that said the best way to do it would have been to have them lose against the Mysterios here, have the Mysterios end up losing to probably Gable and Otis. And then have the Street Profits take it off of Gable and Otis, so that way the Usos can later on take it off of the Street Profits. So that way you would have given enough time for this whole stuff to die down, or whatever repercussions you were going to give Jimmy, and then go from there. But it's a bittersweet win because, of course, we all know the Usos are a highly touted tag team and one of the best in the world. Period. But
they were ranked number 7 on the list.
Yeah, and with that blemish, with Jimmy's problems, it doesn't sit too well with the split crowd, because again, like we saw the reaction on Money in the Bank. Everybody was cheering for the Usos.
Yes, they
won. Nobody had anything bad to say. And you got to remember, these are the heels in this match anyway. So for them to get that reaction, it's not like WWE had piped in any type of soundbite for cheering. That's all authentic and genuine. So yeah, I'm glad they won. I mean, I get the whole thing with the repercussions, everything. Of course, we came on here and we talked about it, saying we don't condone any of that. We do believe that he should be reprimanded for what he did because it is a reoccurring thing. But at the same time, we're looking at it from a storyline perspective. We're looking at it from entertainment. And it's technically the necessary thing that you would do within this story. So from that perspective, I don't mind it. But with the way that it does look, if it was somebody else, would they have gotten the same treatment? That's the big question.
Well, see, and the thing is too, this was in a weird spot because of with the Roman situation. With Roman being the guy, they wanted the bloodline to have quote unquote all the gold, as they kept saying.
Yes.
So they were put in an awkward position too. So their positioning was fuck it, let it happen, and whatever backlash we get from it, oh well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, what the hell? Did y'all hear that?
No.
Oops. Okay, good. GPS trying to be extra loud.
Well, yeah, the Usos won with an assisted roll up, and they are now 7-time.
7-time. We're not saying that 7 times though. Shout out to Booker T. But yeah, all in all, definitely still a good match. I enjoyed it. I love the tag team work from the Usos. Dominic still going to need some more work. He's still good at what he does right now, but you can still tell that he's still stutter steps and kind of second guess some of the stuff that he does. But yeah, definitely a good start for him and Rhea as a tag team, as well as him as a professional wrestler in this regard.
And plus, Ray got his dream of becoming tag champs with his son.
Absolutely, which is pretty much in my opinion is pretty much all this was really for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know y'all haven't been really keeping up with it. I think they only even defended the belts like once or twice since they won them.
Really?
Oh, really?
I think they gave the Dirty Dogs their rematch, and they might have defended it one other time after that, but they haven't even defended it that much.
Well, then that's
so
definitely more. Yeah,
it wasn't like they were really doing much with them.
Well, now at least one. Well, no, I think. Well, I mean, we'll get to that later, but at least now we got the SmackDown tag titles in a prominent storyline. So, kudos to that, and I look forward to what the Usos are going to be doing more with the tag titles. But I have to go to the first blemish, in my opinion, of the event, which was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Now, for the people who might have watched the podcast, if I wouldn't have went against my initial thought, I would have been 6-1.
That's true.
But I went against my initial thought because, and the thing was that something. So, looking at the names here, we knew Natalya, Tamina, Asuka wasn't going to win. So that was Naomi, Bliss, Nikki, Liv, and Zelina. Any one of those women could have won, but I will say this, personally speaking, they picked the wrong choice to win.
Well,
even though Jaeger guessed it correctly, they picked the wrong choice only because they didn't let the character develop any. She's only been this almost a superhero for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops.
True.
Liv Morgan would have been the better. Liv or Zelina would have been the better choice.
Well, I agree with everything that you just said, especially with the whole Nikki AS.H situation, because one, I haven't watched Raw since the last time we talked about me not watching Raw.
I can fill you in on whatever you wanted to know.
But I mean, I agree with this being a fairly new character, and as far as the whole Nikki Cross thing goes, it just I feel like, I mean, granted, I believe because this character was her idea, correct?
Yes, it was her idea, and literally the way it was debuted, right before her match, she was dressed in that costume, and it was like she gave this monologue, well, I guess dialogue about it, and boom. Ever since then, that's been the character.
Yeah, and again, there may be some appeal behind it, but me looking at it first glance and my own few impressions of it, I'm just not behind it. I can't. Like there's a part of me that's just like, nope, no, I can't do it. But as I was watching this, my brain started to kind of just mull over things, and of course I texted Joel last night about this. But my thing is the fact that if you had Tegan and Shotzi in 2 matches with the tag team champions, and you had them win on back-to-back weeks, instead of throwing the tag titles into the scenario, why not just have them take the place of the tag team champions in this Money in the Bank match? Because that would have gave a lot more luster to this Money in the Bank match, especially having 2 fresh faces in this.
Yes. So another issue. So my brother sent me an image today.
Okay.
So apparently in between last night and today, apparently Naomi got traded to SmackDown. Apparently.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Apparently she got traded. So I don't know how clear my camera is going to pick it up. But if you
that's
see,
clear.
You only see Bianca, Bayley,
Carmella, Liv, Naomi, Natalya, Sasha, Shotzi, Tamina, Tegan, Tony, and Zelina.
That's all SmackDown has. So it was. So what they could have did, they could have kept Natalya, and they could have just played on the quirkiness of Shotzi and Tegan and had them do like rock paper scissors to see. But to put both of them in there was a little like, because I'm pretty sure Shotzi would have took a bump.
Absolutely.
Shotzi would have did something crazy. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Bombastic would have enjoyed Shotzi's appearance.
You already know.
Of course.
Yeah, because I was even listening. I have some few quips and things of Bleacher Report, and even Bleacher Report had agreed that it was too soon for Nikki to win it. I
mean,
the only reason played up that character more.
Only reason I really gave her character like a shot or a guess was because of how quickly they picked up her and trademarked her name.
Yeah,
like they're with the flow of the world right now. Marvel and all the superhero stuff is in heavy support. So. You have a superhero persona coming about that we haven't really seen since like the Hurricane. I threw my hat in there and said, "Screw it, let's see how this rolls."
Yeah, that's a logical decision. Yeah,
and you guessed correctly.
Yeah, I mean it should have been Liv, which was my other guess, but I'm not. I mean, albeit too soon, I'm not necessarily mad at Nikki winning it. Question really it goes down to who she faces, but I don't know if I see her. See, with all this momentum she has, I can't see her losing, but I can't really. I mean, I hope she beats Charlotte at least, if anybody.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, Nikki won.
Okay,
Charlotte won.
I guess more importantly, it's not so much about who won it. How do y'all feel about how she won it?
Bullshit.
Wait, Charlotte?
No. Nikki. How y'all feel about the way she won the match?
I thought it was
up over everybody and just yanked it on down.
Here's the problem with that, and this is one of my concerns about her winning this. Because being that this is her character right now, and it's not something that you can overly take serious with the landscape of Raw's women division. You think of Rhea, you think of Charlotte, you think of at this point it's going to be Becky that's there. You think about everybody else that's in that division. Nobody is going to be quirky or super just over the top outside of Alexa, who's honestly going to give you some type of storyline or feud that's going to make sense for everybody to be behind Nikki to win, because who's going to take Nikki AS.H seriously in this regard against anybody other than Alexa Bliss? That's why if they had not done this whole character change and would have just had Nikki Cross be Nikki Cross, then I would have been better. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problems, because I could see her going up against anybody at this point just to get that new edge.
And you know what? It would have made more sense if Nikki Cross would have won it, because if you go back before Money in the Bank, before WrestleMania Backlash, she was winning all of these matches against Charlotte and Rhea and stuff like that. So the momentum for her was already there before she switched. So, because she switched and took a pinfall loss to Nia, but they just made it as hey, she's still superheroing and you can't win them all. I'm never going to give up the spirit, type of thing.
Her winning, and then the fact that they had the women's tag team champions in this match as well,
and they were everywhere. Natalya and Tamina were like everywhere. Like, geez, move around.
Yeah, I can't. And on top, and okay, and because I have to bring this up now because I have to talk about it since I did bring up Alexa. Why? Just why? Why? On so many levels. Like, I'll tell you this: Alexa Bliss was good during her entrance, her character work when all the other entrances were going on. Certain spots where she hit, I don't know if they even have a name for her finisher now. It's because I know it's the whole Sister Abigail into like a DDT.
I think they still, I think even on commentary, they still said it was like Sister Abigail.
That should be called the Twisted Bliss instead of that damn top rope
splash.
Yeah.
So even on commentary, they were saying, Sister Abigail like maneuver.
Yeah. So then the whole thing with I was cool when she did try the whole telepathy stuff to bring the briefcase down, and then I believe Asuka was the one that stopped her, and I was like, cool, like that part I'm cool with, but then
the Zelina part,
the Zelina part happened, and I was like, okay, so they really trying to go full on with this.
Well, that's been her thing. Since you haven't been watching Raw, I only been catching it because I was out of town. But that's been her thing, that if you look into her eyes, she can basically hypnotize you.
See, and here's the problem with that, Nick, because I remember the thing about like Reginald or whatever that she did.
It started with when she went against Shayna, and she stared at Nia, and she made Nia slap Reggie.
Yeah, okay.
Then the next week, it was her hypnotizing Reggie. And so that's been the thing with her, is that don't basically stare into her eyes.
Okay, so then if that's the case, just because this is my adult brain working here, if I had these superpowers, why bother going through the Money in the Bank? Why not go up to Rhea, who at the champion at the time, and just be like, hey, I'm going to set up this match. Okay, hey, I'm going to lay down. Hey, I'm going to take the 3 count. Hey, I lost the title. Like, this is where...
Hey. People get arrested for thinking like that, okay? You can't be thinking logically in WWE's illogical world.
And this is why this shit is a problem. But so on top of that, like I get the whole, them trying to, take out Alexa and all this other shit. But with these whole ladder things, and this is due to part in this spot as well as the cameraman, because the cameraman had the bright idea to film the side where Alexa's body was like half in and half out from under one ladder.
She wasn't even like, it was like maybe a ladder on top of her.
Yes,
roughly.
Yes. Yeah. So she could have just slid right under. So I don't know how you sit there and sell that bullshit, but hey, I digress. Nikki AS.H won. She's gonna do whatever it is that WWE wants her to do at this point. I honestly don't see this as a successful cash in unless there's like some super duper shenanigans.
She will be the first woman.
Yeah, and that's probably what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
So, but hey, what the fuck ever.
She will be the first woman.
The Raw tag team titles are on the line. This whole thing, I feel bad for the Viking Raiders.
Cause after watching tonight, because to the people, I'm watching Raw because it is still live, and I did say I was going to give the first Raw and SmackDown with fans a chance. They won a 6-man tag match tonight. It was the Viking Raiders and Riddle versus AJ Omos and Morrison, and the Viking Raiders won. So I think they're still going to get those belts from AJ and Omos, but not last night.
No, I don't think at this point I don't think so, because you one person that you just said they were with Riddle. This whole thing is set up for him and Orton to win those titles from AJ and Omos. And
which that situation has been weird because Randy hasn't been around in a minute. Ever since Randy didn't win his opportunity to be in Money in the Bank, he hasn't been on TV. But I did thought that too, that RK Bro was going to be the next tag team champs.
Especially with the way, which we'll get into later, but with the way Riddle was dishing out RKOs.
Oh, and he got the rub from John Cena because John Cena opened the show, and Riddle came out to start the match. Yeah, John Cena opened up Raw to address what happened. And oh shit, I probably gave you like a little spoiler there, didn't I?
Spoiler alert. Yeah,
spoiler. Yeah. But John Cena came out, addressed, and then Riddle came out, and then Cena was like, "Hey, I finally get it, bro." And they was both in the ring just sharing bros, and then they go, "Bro," kind of like sung it. So he got the extra little rub from Cena. So once again, spoiler.
It's funny. It's funny how bad this era of WWE needs John Cena.
Right.
That's the sad thing. They refuse to build stars right now, or they refuse to build new stars, and they realize that they can't do shit without the stars that they've built as it is. So
and that's what Jim Cornette said. Jim Cornette said, because they asked him about how did he feel with like Sting and all of these people in AEW. He was like, the issue with stuff like that with AEW and WWE, when you keep bringing back the past, you keep reminding people that these guys are cooler than the ones now. And AEW doesn't do it as bad because they do have some cool people there in AEW. But in WWE's case, yes, WWE keeps making you see that, hey, you will never get another John Cena. You will never get another Rock, Austin, Brock, Batista. You will never, ever.
And that's sad.
To quote the famous words of the one Chris Jericho, ever get another superstar like that again. Oh, sorry, again.
So, yeah, but I mean, this match itself was pretty much paint by the numbers. AJ goes in, pretty much does the majority of like the wrestling work, all the technical shit, and almost gets his big man spots, which I'm glad Omos is the type of big man that he is.
Yeah,
because he does have some refreshing offense on his end, especially to be as tall as he is. For him to like throw, the side kicks that he's throwing, for him to get in there and just have that intensity and then have the speed at that, I just wish his selling was a little bit different, because when I watch him, it's almost like watching like a grown adult play with a 4-year-old and then try to sell like certain hits.
That's a great analogy.
That's as soon as I saw it last night, that's immediately where my mind went. I'm like, that's how I play with like my nieces and nephews. So I know I look like that. I don't know if he realizes he looked like that, but yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Analogy for Omos. And then too, it doesn't help that the man is like 7'2", 7'3", or some shit. So it doesn't help.
Well, I did start. I started watching, but before Money in the Bank it came on, I started watching the Kevin Nash and Stone Cold interview, and I didn't realize Kevin Nash was actually one of the people that was helping train Omos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that intrigued me more, especially, and of course, when I went into this match, that was fresh in my mind. So I was like, okay, this I can start to see his progression from WrestleMania up to this point and be like, okay, there's a few differences that he's done now, but he's still keeping that same intensity and that same and the same level of drive that he has within the ring. So being around AJ is definitely good.
Because even Ashley has said that once again, it's the AJ Styles effect.
Mm-hmm.
That man, AJ Styles and Sasha Banks are in the same boat, that they just make people look good.
Yeah.
No matter who they face, AJ and Sasha can make anybody look good. And even some of the assisted moves Omos and AJ does, how AJ vaults off of Omos and shit like that, it's because AJ being the phenomenal one, he makes anybody look good. And this is no knock against Omos, because you can tell Omos is still green. You can tell he's still green, but he just instantly boosts Omos up some, because once again, he's with AJ Styles.
And the good thing about it is too is that they're helping Omos in this regard too, because everybody knows AJ is the most experienced one. But when you look at all these big matches that they have, Omos is more than likely getting the pin on all of these matches.
Yes.
Still helping solidify that he is the big man, he is the powerhouse within this. So it's like it's AJ kind of taking a backseat a little bit in these finishes to help push Omos.
Hey, this is how you do it, Charlotte Flair. AJ Styles is still AJ Styles, even if he don't win, or even if he doesn't get the pin or whatever. He's still AJ Styles at the end of the day.
Well, you know, Scoot, I'm glad you said that, because you know what, AJ and Omos won, obviously, but since Scoot brought it up, I guess we have to fucking talk about it. Look, again,
two things have pissed me off slightly. My brother and Bleacher Report.
Why is that?
Because they both agreed that this was the right call. So let me preference. My brother loves Charlotte, and he does.
This I didn't know.
He does understand Charlotte. He does understand Charlotte getting. He understands it.
Okay, see, here's the funny thing. See, knowing your brother and knowing how he is, this still makes sense to me.
And the thing is, too, if he wasn't at work, because I tried to get him to be on with us to talk about it, because especially this segment here, but he will still be at work. But I don't see why this had to happen.
Okay,
for everybody out there, Charlotte Flair won, so we're gonna just get down to the brass tacks of it all.
So they turned. So this match, of course, I'm not going to shit on this match. Say this was a bad match. There were some good spots in this match. I just, again, for me, it's hard for me to take my bias out of this half the time, because I'm always going to be anti-Charlotte Flair for a multitude of reasons. But I'm also looking at everything objectively, and I'm not going to be too biased about every situation. Do I think this was the right call? Maybe, depending on what happens after this, because because if they go with this whole, because I know that Charlotte's gone on record to be like she hasn't had a meaningful title run, she's lost it at certain points or whatever. So I don't know if that's what they're doing for her, But with Becky being over like Rover and not even being there, and her basically getting the CM Punk effect where she ain't in the match and they chanted for Becky. Yeah, because
I'm going to be pissed. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be pissed if this is a setup for Becky to win the belt. Because wouldn't it have been better to kind of help make the star of Rhea Ripley go against Becky rather than Charlotte? Like
it would. It actually would, because see, with everybody pretty much shitting on both Rhea and Charlotte, mainly because of WWE's booking, they're both going to end up looking like heels in comparison to Becky. So if you have Rhea beat Charlotte at her own game at this point and make her, because especially with the storyline that they've been telling that she's going to do everything Charlotte does, and then you have her beat Charlotte and then start to believe her own hype and then become that cocky, overconfident person who thinks that, oh, she beat Charlotte, so now she's like queen shit right now. So and then you have Becky come in and then basically bring her down to earth. Because this would have been perfect to build up Rhea after this. Have Rhea have a few more defenses and then have her feud with Becky. This would have made more sense. Putting the title on Charlotte, yeah, most people would think that this would be the right call. But in what regard? Because what are you going to do with Rhea after this?
Exactly. Chase Charlotte.
Not to mention, it would have like kind of redeemed Becky's win over against damn it, what was her name?
Oh, Shayna?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler, with the way that match went.
Yeah.
And on top of that, see, and I guarantee you that if Charlotte would have done the job for Rhea on this one to go over clean, no shenanigans, no bullshit, no DQ, none of that, Charlotte would have gained this much more respect from me.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have shitted over her like this. But because there's an unknown factor in all of this, and because if you do this just for her to drop it to Becky, it makes no sense, because again, you could have taken the time to build Rhea up more and make her more credible in a loss to Becky rather than a loss to Charlotte.
To make her 14-time champion.
Yeah, and for what?
And speaking of, she's about to come out and do her coronation, her championship celebration.
It's almost like she knows that I'm talking about her.
With that being said, Mr. Yeager, you sent a text message yesterday to the group about a certain spot in the match. You care to explain what happened there? Involving the steel steps?
Oh, and how there should have been a DQ involved? Yeah, so Charlotte pretty much seals her victory by wedging good old Rhea's knee, ankle, whatever, into the steel steps, and then in front of the ref repeatedly gets to wailing on it. And there is zero call from the ref, just besides the whole get back in the ring bit. And I'm sorry, but that sounds like and looks like a weapon to me. That, in my opinion, should have resulted in a DQ.
Considering
go ahead.
Got disqualified at WrestleMania Backlash for using the top of the announce table and hitting Charlotte with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for the yahoos who might say otherwise, let me explain something to you as far as common sense goes. So, if Rhea pulls the top of a table and it pops Charlotte, that's then used as a weapon. When people get thrown into the steel steps, that's momentum taking them into something.
That's like throwing them into a barricade.
Correct. But
if I throw you in that direction, if that's what's in that direction and you hit said object, that was your momentum taking you to said object.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, if I'd wedged your leg in between some steel steps, Matter of fact, let's take it this way. If I take some still steps off and I throw them at you, that's me taking those steps, whether I throw them or just slam you with it, that's still hidden. But if I take my foot and I have you wedged between a pole and still steps, and then I kick that, that's me utilizing that as a weapon. So a DQ, this is why WWE just makes no fucking sense, because we had the same issue about, okay, well, people done this before, why is it a DQ? But then you say it's a DQ, and then you go back, and then you say it's not a DQ. So,
somebody please explain.
Exactly.
But see, here's it is. This right here is what I'm pissed off about, because this in itself is, again, the Charlotte effect. See, Charlotte can get hit with the piece of a table, and Rhea gets disqualified. Charlotte can then do something of the same thing and be perfectly fine, because that also caused the finish of the match, because right after that is when she locked in the figure 8 and then won.
Mm-hmm.
So Charlotte can go over clean, get taps, but she can only lose via DQ.
Right.
When it matters, because on Raw, yeah, she lost to Asuka, she lost to other people by pinfall, whatever, but nothing was on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Only when something's on the line does Charlotte just, it takes forever, because I'm going to say 90% of the time she does not lose clean.
Mm-hmm.
She loses by shenanigans. She's lost clean before. I'm not going to sit here and say she hasn't, because I'm pretty sure she lost to Becky clean at one point in the distant past. But yeah, Charlotte is you're what, 14 time
14
we
times.
We ain't saying that 14 times.
No, I don't even want to say it once.
At this point, gentlemen, I know we only got a couple matches left, but I actually have to dip at the moment.
No, you handle your biz. I'm sure the ladies appreciate you showing your face.
Oh,
and you could just catch we're gonna talk about something else at the Money in the Bank, and you can just catch it later.
All right, but I'm gonna give it too sweet to the boys.
Hey.
No, y'all about to knock the rest of this out. But I shall see y'all on Thursday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right.
Yeah.
Deuces, guys.
All right, man.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't see why it had to happen, honestly.
Yeah, same. But hey, it is what it is. I hope for the best in this, so that way they can make it make sense. But I'm not expecting much out of it, because I'm not hopeful in this situation. So, what the fuck ever.
Yeah, basically.
But we go from that to a massacre.
Yes. It was.
It's funny, because it was funny that Kofi decided to wear Skeletor garb. Because he was just like that dead emoji.
Yeah.
Because
I kind of hate that I predicted that. Because Kofi only got off 2 moves in that whole match and just got obliterated.
You see, I would have been more forgiving if this is how Brock Lesnar beat Kofi, because at least it wasn't like, him coming in and beating Kofi with, what was it, 7 seconds or something like that?
8 seconds, 7 seconds, something like that.
Yeah. This was actually given time to where it's like, okay, we're going to, and for those who think Kofi got like squashed, he didn't really get squashed. This is really building up Lashley, because if you think about that, because I've actually kind of caught myself up on this story where, his losses to Xavier made sense, loss to Kofi made sense, of how him being a champ and then like partying all this stuff kind of got to him, so it kind of killed his edge a little bit. I like that. I like that aspect. And again, I don't think this is Kofi being squashed. I just think that,
Kofi's evolution of Bobby's character.
Absolutely. And that's not to say that Kofi can't have the same resurgence at all.
Exactly.
I think it's good at this point, because it helps build the story, because again, you know, we're going to talk about it later on, but I mean, this goes into the whole, you know, men's Money in the Bank and building up to a storyline. This only furthers that. And again, this goes back to what Trips was saying when he was like, you know, need to just sit and kind of ride it out. Yeah, we're going to complain about Kofi almost seem like he's getting squashed or, you know, murdered, massacred, whatever the case may be. But how much better is it going to look when Bobby potentially loses to who he might be set up to feud against at this point? Because that's redemption. That's redemption. That's revenge. And it's all wrapped up in this feel-good moment to where New Day gets their comeuppance. New Day as a whole. But yeah, there wasn't much to talk about this because outside of the murder that everybody was had witnessed, we just got Bobby Lashley, Mr. Almighty, back to form. So hopefully, with the rumors of Goldberg coming into play, hopefully we get an almighty Bobby Lashley who goes in and massacres Oldberg. So we're gonna have to see. But speaking of Money in the Bank winners, the men's Money in the Bank, wow.
I freaked out. Legitimately, I freaked out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I legitimately freaked out when Big E legitimately won. I legitimately spazzed out. I was like, yo, I cannot believe that really happened.
Yeah.
Like, I was legit shocked.
And I believe, let me see, thinking about all the winners, I believe he might be the first African-American to win Money in the Bank. I don't know. He might be.
I think he has no choice.
Let's see. If we go to winners, because I want to say I'm almost sure of that, but watch me be completely wrong and it'd be like, oh shit, no, it was this person.
I'm trying to think, who else was it?
But if we got Edge, Mr. Kennedy, Punk, Swagger, Miz. Let's see, Dolph.
I know Alberto Del Rio. I know Kane.
Seth Rollins, Kane.
I don't think Mark Henry won it.
No, he I think he was in the first or second one.
Yeah,
but he definitely didn't win it. Yeah, I believe Big E. Yeah, might be. Yep, because what? Cena, Sandow, Orton, Rollins, Sheamus, Ambrose, Strowman, Lesnar. Oh, this. Yep, Big E definitely is. That's issue for Big E right there. So again, you know, congrats for winning, but also congrats to that as well. So that's actually, no, it's funny because now New Day has two firsts within their stable. Kofi being the first African American to win the World Championship. Although you know, one could argue that it could be The Rock, but you know they don't say that. But yeah, so definitely congratulations on both accounts for that. But so this match,
this is the issue I'm noticing too personally. And I don't know if it's with the women or the way it's set up. The men's spots that that was supposed to be spots didn't look as so set up as with the women.
That is so true.
It was like that one spot with Nikki on the ladder, and she sat there and posed and did all this other stuff while everybody's just sitting there, bunched up. And then she just did her little superhero dive. It didn't look that way because with that moment with Ricochet, when was it, Morrison? Was it Morrison that pushed the ladder?
It was either no. I think it was it was Riddle. Riddle was on the push the ladder.
Riddle pushed the ladder. they didn't show the other people on the outside fighting.
Yeah, they did.
They only just focused on Riddle and Ricochet. And when Riddle pushed it over, Ricochet was like, "Ooh, there's people out here."
Yeah, so, and that was another thing about that too, was that the fact that one the camera, like, good shit on the cameraman for that spot, because there were so many ways they could have fucked that spot up, because they got that picture perfect. But like everything, I don't know if it was because the men just had that chemistry, but everybody seemed to be at the right spot at the right time. I didn't feel like there were any like stutter steps outside of like, Morrison and Rollins working together and then trying to figure out the whole ladder shit. But as far as like everything else, especially when Owens was just stunning everybody, when Riddle was throwing RKOs out, when it just back to back to back, it was just nonstop. Everything was going on. Even when people were going up to the ladder or trying to climb up the ladder, it didn't feel like the whole like, oh, I'm just gonna climb this shit super duper slow. It's like when they started climbing, people were right there on their ass at a certain point,
and also
where everything made sense.
Shouts out to Ricochet for walking the ropes, then jumping off the ropes to the ladder. Like,
I got to give a shout out to Phoenix for that, because Phoenix is still the best one. But I'm pretty sure he got some tips from Phoenix on that one.
Back from that Lucha Underground days,
Yep, there you go. Prince Puma, for those who don't know.
Yeah, Prince Puma.
But yeah, that did have me worried too when I seen him. I was like, oh, is he gonna make it? And of course, sure enough, picture perfect. And from there,
for the people who want to reference our previous conversation about spots, we were calling out more spots that we would not take, because I ain't taking that KO spot.
Oh no, not on that the sideways ladder. Oh yeah. No. I was like, no, my spine felt that even when I watched it. I was like, no. And then Ricochet got Alabama slammed onto a ladder. And I'm just like, how did it see? And he was coherent enough to know when he was about to hit, because he arched himself to where his head did not slam into that ladder.
Yes.
It was all just torso, chest, and his nipples. But yeah, this
not only did Big E won, but he actually won in spectacular fashion by hitting the big ending to Seth off
one
the ladder.
Of the biggest endings.
Right? The biggest ending. He hit the biggest ending on Seth Rollins off the ladder. Then kudos to the fact that he did the move, and then he wasn't all like, oh, now I have to struggle to.
He was like, fuck all that.
Yeah, he was like, this is mine.
Yes.
And you can see the genuine emotion in his face that he won.
Yeah. And that's what I'm glad about too, just because like everybody in this match, like you could tell that whoever would have won, it would have been deserved because of everything everybody was doing, because of how nonstop everything was, and just the fact that everything that happened in this match made sense. Like I could look at this and I could be like, you know what? Yeah, if I was to make one of the best Money in the Bank matches, like to make sense, this would be it, with the spots, everything. Because and it's funny now that they have two Money in the Bank matches with both the women and the men. You can see what you shouldn't do in Money in the Bank, and then what you should do in Money in the Bank, all on the same show. And yeah, everybody in here had a deserved spot within this match, and that's why I'm just like, yeah, all day. So again, congrats to Big E for winning this shit. You deserve it. I do believe that he is going to go to Raw. I don't know if he's popped up on there yet. Scoop?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So we'll see if he does. If not, he's probably going to tease in Paul Heyman, because I know he's not going to tease Roman. He'll just tease Paul Heyman the whole time, like he did on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get some of those shenanigans until he eventually goes to Raw to pick a fight with MVP and the Almighty.
The Almighty.
But we have to wait and see what happens, 1, tonight, and then 2 on SmackDown, if that's the case. So
yeah.
But speaking of SmackDowns, we have the SmackDown Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, defending his title against a returning Edge.
Mm-hmm.
So it did look like Edge was holding back tears this time again.
Yeah.
With the ovation that he got. But granted, it's still not like it was in Houston. When in Houston, that had me almost choke up a little bit when I watched that back.
Like, I remember literally at that Royal Rumble, and I remember literally just screaming. Like, I just screamed. Like, I heard the music and I just screamed, and it was like, fuck it, I ain't care. So you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so I guess we have some little technical difficulties because apparently Mr. Deasley has left. So I hope, his lights or anything didn't go out. But yeah, Roman Reigns versus Edge, Universal Championship. You okay, Bella? It started off fairly slow. Not to say it was boring, because that would be mean, but it started off kind of slow. And it did pick up, which thank God. It did pick up. It became a much better match as the match progressed. Thank you. Let me say it that way. There were some great spots with Edge. There were some great spots with Roman. There were spots that I think that it seemed like Edge was going to win because there was definitely some close calls to where the ref could have hit 3. But, the professionals that Roman and Edge are, they made it work. Bells, it's okay. It's okay, Bella. It's okay. I know. It's okay. I know it sounds scary outside. It's okay. But, yeah. I did like the whole when the Usos came out and the Mysterios stopped them. But, Seth coming out, it was like, oh, writing's on the wall. Hold on 1 second, guys. It was like, oh, writing's on the wall. It's definitely meant for Roman to win. And then when when Edge overcame it a little bit, it was still even more like, oh shit, is there a chance that Edge could win this? And then of course Seth came back. And then it was like, okay, yeah, definitely it's meant for Roman to win this match. And yeah, Roman hit that vicious spear, got his 1, 2, 3, and still Universal Champ Roman Reigns. And then Roman and Seth got into a little brawl because Seth tried to get in Roman's face, saying, I'm next in line, this, that, and the third. So they got into a little brawl. And then, what in the hell? They got into a little brawl. Sorry, guys, I am watching Raw at the same time, and yeah, they got into a little brawl, and then of course, to close out the show, John Cena's theme music hit, and the crowd went stupid, and it was just a stare down, and Cena hit him with the. And boom, that was Money in the Bank in the end. You know, so of course they're gonna give us, most likely they're gonna give us John Cena and Roman at SummerSlam, you know, big marquee match, of course. But good to see Mr. Cena back, because you know he did cut a small promo. Once again, guys, I'm sorry I'm watching Raw, and Reginald just became the new 24/7 champion. Yes, Reginald. And he's okay. Yeah. So of course, I would ask Mr. Diesley how he feels about John Cena's return, but you know, unfortunately, I'm left to do the duties on my own for the time being. So, peeps out there, what were your thoughts and feelings on Money in the Bank 2021? Oh, okay, hey, there he goes. So I kind of finished wrapping up the Roman and Edge match.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it? Because I was just about to get ready to say, hey, if Mr. Diesley was here, I'll ask him about John Cena's return. But what were your thoughts with everything, the way the match played out, and John Cena's return?
Well, first off, you gotta love technology, because
yes,
you know, had this been a one-sided thing, because the host hub is on my side, so luckily, even though my shit went out, this is the second time this has happened. The first time was some weird shit. This time, clearly, y'all. I mean, you heard it when Jaeger was driving. You could hear it. And look, there it is, right there. There's some more thunder right there.
Mm-hmm.
You could, you know, it's raining in Houston, obviously, and it came out of fucking nowhere.
To cut out too, so if I mysteriously vanish, you know why.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try to make this quick because I don't want it to happen again. But Roman's heel work, perfect. The way, and look, I know his fucking entrance was that long by design, because one, he made Edge wait, and then two, like I had to double check. I'm like, wait a minute, this entrance is still going on, and I'm like, oh, it's almost like he's like being snarky about this whole thing, because Undertaker's entrance is always like 10 fucking minutes, but you know, he's like, fuck it, you know, y'all don't want to see me, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna take my time, which also carries on to the match. You know, he was sitting here doing rest holds and all this this ill shit, and then talking shit to the fans. Like, I know he was happy to get shit off his chest.
Yes.
You know, this whole time. Like, who's the bitch now? I'm gonna lay on this man all day. 365 days, I'm here. I was like, if you don't respect Roman as a heel, or before that, you definitely should now, because like this is perfect. And the fact that John Cena, and I'm segueing into Scoot's question, the fact that John Cena showing up once fans are back in attendance, and then the fact that if you don't recall, people, that the whole promo thing where John Cena was schooling Roman, and you know had doing a little bit of a shoot shit here and there during that promo. This is perfect because it makes sense. Even though Roman did win that match, John Cena almost being the kryptonite to Roman's empire, so to speak, and the look on his face that he gave is like, shit, I've been running the show, now I got this motherfucker back. And it's like, could this be the thing? Could this be the one motherfucker that comes and just takes all my shine, everything I've worked for? I love the look on his face. I love the fact that he didn't really say anything. I know him and John exchanged words, you know, when they got in each other's faces. But John, with Roman being super serious, and then John being very comedic, especially when he got in the ring and then start doing those little steps towards him, and it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. Yeah, It again, and I'll basically bring it back up. It's the fact that, you know, WWE needs a John Cena at this point in time, and you know, with the ovation that John got, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absence make the heart grow fonder. You're right.
So, yeah, and it's gonna be refreshing because everybody knows Cena is an amazing promo, and they're going to get their money's worth out of Cena while he's here, which is why, just like you said, he was on Raw. So yeah, they're gonna make sure that they probably open up every show for the next few weeks until SummerSlam.
And when he was on Raw, he said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna be on SmackDown Friday."
Yeah, see, yeah. So they're relying on Cena at this point while fans are in attendance. So yeah. That's no surprise, but yeah, I think Cena being back is a good thing. You know, there's a part of me on the inside that popped a little bit when Cena's music hit, because that was a genuine surprise. That was a genuine surprise because I didn't expect it, and I'm glad that WWE actually did that and was actually able to keep that shit a fucking secret to the point to where it's like, oh, okay, because again, we all knew when we knew Edge was going to be in Houston. You know, when he came for Royal Rumble, you know, even though they tried to say he wasn't, everybody expected Cena to either be on Raw or SmackDown. Not at Money in the Bank. And they kept that shit under wraps. And I'm glad they did, because that is what a lot of wrestling is missing right now. Now, AEW doesn't have that problem. AEW has, you know, they can still give genuine surprises, but WWE, because it's such a huge conglomerate, it makes it very hard for them to keep secrets and shit under wraps. So this felt good for me. You know, not just the fact that Cena showed up, but the fact that they were able to keep something a secret. And by doing that smoke screen where they just sat there and posted pictures of Becky like she was going to show up, and, you know, causing that misdirect. So I'm glad. I'm actually genuinely happy for something like that. So, because I was truly expecting for Roman to get on the mic, have Jay and Jimmy come out and have them do that photo op.
No. Oh, he's debuting tonight. Karrion Kross. He's debuting on Raw tonight
as the NXT champion.
Yeah, they put NXT champion Karrion Kross debuts tonight.
Interesting. So okay, so Raw might be trying to get back to form. I don't know, but yeah, this match between Roman and Edge, I mean, it was more theatrical to me than anything. I mean, the match was slow at pace at times, and it picked up here and there. But all in all, I was more behind the theatrics in the match than anything.
How do you feel about Seth Rollins and Edge?
It's a long time coming. I mean, especially if you think about when Rollins was with the Authority and they were threatening to break Edge's neck again. This was this is all within one, which I'm glad that WWE is keeping some type of continuity with shit.
Yeah,
because it makes sense. And the whole thing with Rollins and Reigns interactions, it's like. You know, they're both heels, so to speak, right now. But the fact that Rollins keeps teasing, you know, hey, whoever's next, whoever wins doesn't matter. I'm next up. And the fact you have like these small instances where they interact, but there's nothing full on to where you just can't be like, you know, hey, definitively, this is what's going to happen. You know, so yeah. But I'm happy that they're keeping Edge in something. And not just having him lose to Roman Reigns and all of a sudden just kind of having him just sit on the sideline. And I'm glad that Rollins is still able to do so. Because again, this goes to another point, just like you said about Charlotte. A good character and a good superstar can come out of everything unscathed if they allow themselves to. And Rollins hasn't been a champion for who knows how long. I think since he was tag champs with Buddy Murphy.
Yes, that is the last title he has had.
And nobody's looked at him oddly in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. They've just that's Rollins because that's star power. And you can't sit there and use that excuse and be like, oh, Charlotte doesn't have star power. Charlotte has plenty of star power because there are plenty of people who are completely behind Charlotte. Not everybody's like me. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's gonna shit on Charlotte. That's just me. But there are definitely people out there who are behind Charlotte who think that she deserves all the championships she gets. There are people out there who believe Charlotte hasn't won enough championships.
Yep.
So again, why is it different for her than anybody else?
I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't get it because I mean Sasha, Bayley, Becky, all of them. Case in point with Bayley. Bayley is the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, and she came out of that and she put herself over with the whole ding dong hello stuff, which
and role model and all of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a conversation for another day. But outside of that, Scoot, I think was the Cena stuff? Was the stuff you want to talk about, or was there something else that you had?
I wanted to talk about Slammiversary, but since Jaeger had to go, we might just save it for the AEW's review that we can discuss Slammiversary a bit.
Fair enough. I'm down with that. We can definitely do that. See, look, we this consider this an in credit scene to the podcast, people. Let you know on A because there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about on AEW for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much Money in the Bank 2021. All in all, a good show. I can't complain.
No.
Outside of a few things, but I mean that's by design. That goes with the territory. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, probably one of the best men's Money in the Bank matches I've seen in a long time.
Yes,
and I appreciate it. Again, congratulations to Big E for being the first African American to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. So hopefully keeps that momentum and then takes it from the Almighty because Roman needs to just have that title for a while. So right now the only expendable title at this point is Bobby Lashley's because he can, he can afford it. He's done enough at this point. He's had it long enough. Roman just can't be.
But you just brought up an interesting question. This will probably be the last thing we could truly discuss. Who would be the one to take it off of Roman? Oh no, did he freeze again? If he froze again, then I guess that's another cliffhanger, guys. Technology is beautiful. Technology is beautiful. I don't know if it didn't look on his face like oh, I am going to totally clip that face and use it for something else because you have to love technology. This is technology at its finest, and there it goes. Apparently, he glitched out again. I would try to stay on until he gets back because I don't know if I was to wrap it up and leave, it would still record blank air, dead air, blank air, dead air. So, what are y'all thoughts out there on Money in the Blank? Money in the Bank. We get the words out. Did the right people win? How do you feel the women's and the men's Money in the Bank matches should have went? How do y'all feel the championship matches should have went? But overall, I enjoyed the show. How did y'all enjoy the show? Wait. Oh, okay, but I think I was about to glitch out too. Yeah. I think overall it was good. A couple of complaints, of course, y'all heard them on this episode, but yeah, so I just hope going forward this is a good change of pace of WWE and possibly their booking, especially as that was the first pay-per-view with fans, and then now getting fans on Raw and SmackDown, so hopefully even the universe can even start to determine some of these outcomes and some of these stars or superstars in WWE, because it would be a nice change of pace to see new blood. You know, it would be nice to see new blood in people who hasn't really got that shot like that.
When I tell you they don't want me to be great, they don't want me to be great, man.
Yeah, I was going on the whole dialogue just now because I was saying, hopefully at the Money in the Bank and with the fans being there, we get a chance to start seeing new stars being created, and hopefully the fans can even start to determine some of these new stars.
And I do hope so. I truly do, because you know, with the shit like Ricochet, with him, I mean, you basically have somebody else who can pull Kofi Kingston spots or Shelton Benjamin spots, you know, via Money in the Bank at this point, or ladder matches for that. I mean, you can have some bomb ass moments now that you got the right people within certain positions here. Like you have a new era lined up of superstars. They need to take a page out of NXT's book and figure out how to build people to move forward, you know, with the transitions, because NXT does it on a regular, especially when you have, again, like Vince McMahon going down and trying to pit and pluck new stars for the main roster.
The NXT champion, Karrion Kross, right now.
Yeah. And what does NXT do? They adapt to it and they change. They don't sit there and become complacent or state or stale with certain situations. They make sure to build for the future.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have a whole, like, you have a complete mid-card division on both shows that you can build the future with. So
absolutely,
why not? But you know, but before we even head out, I will say this. I've said this shit before. Moving to Peacock was a horrible, terrible.
Let's address this before any of the glitches happen.
Yes,
because the way Lip Dizzle has been glitching is the way Peacock was glitching last night.
Yes.
To where even WWE themselves had to address it.
Yeah.
And it was like, fam, like honestly, if it wasn't for other memes, I would have missed like the first 5-10 minutes of the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank match.
Same. So that was a struggle, and it was funny because mine was still going. It was glitching and it was lagging, but it was still playing. But it was like very uncomfortable to watch.
Like, I had it on mute for the longest, and then when I found my other way of watching it, I just cut it off. And then when you sent the message saying that it was fixed, I think either you sent it or my brother sent it. Somebody sent it to me saying Peacock was fixed, and that's when I went ahead and, because where it was at on the way I was watching it and where it was at for real, it wasn't too much far apart. Yeah. But yeah, that right there, Peacock. If I understand this was $1 billion deal, WWE, but y'all need to talk to Peacock and their servers, because this can't happen, you know, at all. Like, I understand technology messes up, I understand things glitch, but come on.
Yeah, y'all have had months to fix this situation since WrestleMania. So yeah, y'all definitely got to fix this, because it's weird. And it, you know, it's funny going from WWE Network, where everybody paid like the $9.99, the whole touted $9.99, where we dealt with the initial stuff, the initial glitches, and like the backwards thinking of the WWE Network, and we got a chance to watch it progress to a very well working app to where we could watch whenever we want. If there was a show going on, it gave us the option to resume where we were, watch current, or start from the very beginning. We don't get that option. So anybody that may happen to miss something on the show, they are stuck with either having to just watch the show from that point on without seeing what happened previously, or having to wait for it to completely finish, or maybe like 30 minutes to an hour after, just so they can watch the show from the very beginning.
And that is big trash.
Very, very big trash. On top of that, you can't fucking rewind.
No, yes. Like, at least give me the fucking rewind feature.
Like, how primitive is that shit? If
like,
they can do that shit on DVR, you telling me Peacock app, a streaming service, can't rewind live shit?
Rewind.
Trash.
Like, yeah, big trash. Big trash.
Peacock, fix your shit.
But let's get on out of here before we get Peacock again.
Right? That's going to be a new thing. I don't want to get peacocked.
We don't want to get Peacock.
But yeah, Scoot, I'm give you a 2 sweet, brother.
Yeah.
That's been that good hot tag shit as always.
Sir.
Oh, and just for you AEW fans, we got something for you on Thursday. If you haven't already seen it. If you haven't already seen it, but we got big endorsed.
Like some might say it was on championship levels of endorsements.
Oh, I like that, on championship level.
It was on championship level of endorsements.
But yeah, but until that time, until you get to Thursday, I bid you all adieu. Big mother effing tag the fuck out.